Living. We are produced by Fascination Design. A few minutes later than our estimated due start time of 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. A couple of technical glitches getting started. It's not the first time we've had that because we're experimenting with new things always. And we are back in Studio A. You may recall we dubbed this Studio A as we kept having to build out other studios. And finally, we built our permanent studio, Studio C, which we use almost always because it's always set up. But for the 1 year anniversary, we thought we would come back into the kitchen studio, Studio A, and remake the same two cocktails we started this series with, the old fashioned and the whiskey sour, just so we could see how things had changed and improved in the last year. Better lighting rigs, better mics, better all sorts of everything, better cameras. So I hope it looks and sounds better for you all out there. Basics of cocktails, right? We haven't talked about basics of cocktails in a little while. Cocktails are built on spirit, sweet. I've got some sugar in the raw packets here. It's going to be my sugar base and contrast, optionally accent. I'm not doing any accents tonight. I am going to do a different kind of bitters. We're going to use this bitter cube cherry bark vanilla, which we're huge fans of, as you can see how much of this we've gone through. And we're going to just use some fresh lemon. Last time we did this, we didn't have any fresh lemon. Now we do, because we keep it as stock now at this point. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves some simple syrup. So I had a lot of sweets earlier today, so I am going to tone down the sweet on my cocktails for this evening. I am going to use about a sugar packet in each of my 2 glasses, which is how I'm going to get this started. Now, nowadays, we've got simple syrup in the refrigerator, as a lot of people do, especially people who watch our show. But this is how you make it from scratch for a individual cocktail. The last time I made this, I used the bar spoon, which we learned is very loud in these kinds of videos. So I'm not going to do that this time. In fact, I am just going to swirl it just like this. Okay, so we're just going to get the sugar to dissolve just with this little bit of action, just like this. Spoon is probably a little bit faster, but this will still work. It takes a little bit of elbow grease to make your own simple to order. Remember, this is how bartenders did it before we had really nice finely granulated sugar and before they started keeping stabilized simple syrup in the bars. So it's not going to dissolve 100%. I'm looking for about 80%. Because if I get any less than that, what happens is when I add the spirit, because it's going to raise the proof, it's going to raise the alcohol concentration, the sugar won't dissolve. Sugar does not dissolve in ethanol. It only dissolves in water. So take a little bit of effort, but it's totally worth it. Now at this point, I'm going to add my contrast. The reason I do this, as I explained last time, is if I screw up this drink now and I throw it away and I start over, that's fine. Not a big deal. If I put my spirit in and then I throw it away, then I'm throwing away good bourbon, and I don't want to do that. So 2 dashes, those big hearty dashes, and 2 ounces of some very nice Elijah Craig. Now, what's impressive about this episode, is we're redoing what we did initially, but also Hillary isn't saying anything like she did last time when we did this very first episode. You only saw her at the very, very end when she stuck her face in to turn off the technology. So she's still here. We haven't gotten rid of her. She's just being quiet, and we're not doing any conversation for this episode.
Actually, you know what? We might, because we changed things up after the first episode. I also want to note that we have not been in this particular setup for almost 3 months.
Yep.
And so I just popped out for like a second, and you might have seen my hand in the corner because I put a completely different mic on this particular computer, and I wanted to check the audio, which meant that I had to leave the room. And I wasn't as careful as I might have been, so you might have seen my hand when I kind of popped out in order to do that. So
20-second stir. The old fashioned is done. I'm not doing any garnish tonight. Could do a little cherry or something like that, but that's all I need. Old fashioned. I had a heavy hand with the bitters. That's and a light hand on the sweet.
But it's good bitters.
It's good bitters. So really good. So now on to the whiskey sour. Same thing. My lemon was a little cold, so I want to warm it up and crush it a little bit. This is going to help me get more juice out of it when we're working with fresh. And I'm going to cut it in half. And I've got my handy kitchen juicer, which I really like. I'm just going to. So So the last one was called a built-in glass cocktail, so I have to call it a big cocktail. This is going to be a shaken cocktail. The reason you don't shake, or the reason you shake a cocktail, we were talking about this in an event we did last night that was really fun, is when you have different viscosities of liquid and different textures of liquid and liquids with solids, you wind up needing to get more aggressive and more energy in the system in order to get everything to integrate properly. So because I've got a lot of solids in here and juices got a lot more compounds generally, I'm going to need to shake it. So I started with my sugar in my glass. Get this one more little swirl here. I'm going to pour that over my shaker. Now I'm going to do an ounce of my lemon juice. This is a 2-1-1 cocktail. Actually, it's more like a 2-1-1/2 cocktail because I cut back on the sweet because I did not want as much of a sweet cocktail this evening. And now I am ready for my 2 ounces of Elijah Craig.
So in our very first episode, we actually used, I believe, James E. Pepper.
Yes, we did.
And there was another one, but I can't remember. We watched it last night. And
Outrage.
Outrage. Ooh, Outrage is still back.
Outrage.
There.
We actually still have the Outrage. We drank all the James E. Pepper though.
Go ahead.
Now, one of the things we've also learned is Mike is over there. It's pretty much hidden. You can't really see it. So shaking needs to happen over here. Okay, shake until it's frosted. That's a pretty good indicator that it's integrated. Oh man, I overshook it just a little because I got too much of a vacuum seal. And so it's taking me more effort to get that apart. Now, if I was being really, really fancy, I'd use a combination Hawthorne strainer and a fine mesh strainer, but I wasn't feeling that this evening. So I'm just going to use the Hawthorne. Fresh ice, because I don't want the ice in here that started to melt off and has been crushed a little bit. That's actually really good looking. What? Right to the top. And that is what I call perfect. Perfect meaning it's got half the sweetness. Perfect whiskey sour. So here we go. Same 2 cocktails we had a year ago.
You know what you forgot?
What did I forget?
Cheers. We are now assuming that everybody has a cocktail shaker since the last year. They probably bought one.
That's right.
Our first episode showed you how to use a mason jar and shake in a mason jar and then use the lid to strain. So that's one of the things that we did think that I thought we were going to do tonight again.
I totally missed that because I'm so used to working with the pro ingredients now, or pro tools now.
But if you don't have a cocktail shaker, we've actually also come up with a number of other kitchen tools that you can use if you don't have them yet, such as a protein shaker, a very well sealed like coffee travel mug. So we have a whole list. If you don't have a muddler, you can use the back end of a very the wooden spoon. I don't know if I have the list online.
We probably do. We probably have a list online somewhere on the website. But yeah, we do because it's part of the preparing for your virtual bourbon tasting and mixology PDF online. So yeah, cool. It's there. If you hunt around on the website, still-living.com, you can find it. Our guide to using common kitchen tools in place of professional bar tools. But at this point, at least we've done so many virtual bourbon tastings, virtual mixology tastings where people have been sent cocktail shakers. We kind of got into the habit of assuming that everybody had them. But whatever you got at home, you can make it work. So thank you for joining us for a year of this show. It's 64 episodes. We're going to keep rolling with it. And so send us any suggestions that you have, any interesting new spirits, new mixers, just new ingredients generally, or new techniques and tools you want us to experiment. We've done all sorts of fun things. We've done peanut butter and jelly. We've done a bunch of creams. We've done eggs. We set things on fire. So it's been a fun show to do, and we want to keep it rolling. See you next week. Wednesday, 8 p.m.
Can I do a little recap?
Do a recap.
As in last year, March 15th was when we started this. So it's actually a little bit after our anniversary of this event, this series. And I'm kind of curious if we might go through a few more and see if there are a few more where the video quality was pretty terrible early on. We might remake a few of them for that reason. And because, Facebook at the time was still struggling with internet speeds as well, or actually, like even Facebook was having issues.
Mm-hmm.
So
Upgraded all the things. Now it's time to recreate.
bye
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.